What is up, everyone? Welcome to the part 2 of this draft target series. Today, we are diving into the Red Wings organization and see if we can help Detroit and the Yzer plan take the next step and add some additional skill to the pipeline. Please take the time to like and subscribe if you like this type of content, and without any further ado, let's get into it. So, the Red Wings have been rebuilding since what seems like forever. Not Buffalo style forever, but still they've missed the playoff for 8 seasons in a row. The result of that is a somewhat strong NHL group on the verge of making the playoff, or at least being strongly in the mix until the end for 2 seasons in a row. There are some strength and some deficiencies in that squad though. They are middle of the pack when it comes to putting the puck in the net. They have one of the best power play in the entire NHL, scoring at a 28% clip, but they are terrible at 5v5, being at the very bottom of the NHL, and that's a problem since it's not like there's a ton of goal coming in the pipeline in the near future. They're also terrible on the PK, being dead last, but that's most likely more of a strategy and player buy-in issue than anything else, because that team is filled with options in the NHL and the pipeline to succeed on the PK. Anyways, all this to say that compared to last week with the Hawks, they are significantly better and don't need as much work. When we combine both the NHL and the pipeline, Detroit has a decent forward group with Raymond, Larkin, the brink being big-time first-line, borderline star-level players. Everything else is basically middle six or second-line potential, but in a more complementary style. Players like Marco Kasper, Nate Danielson, Michael Brandsack-Nygaard all have second-line potential, but none of them can really drive offense at the NHL level, or at least not in that role. There's also players like Buchelnikov, Mazur, Max Blount, Kiskinen, and Noah Dower-Nelson who could fill a role in the NHL, but none of them really screams offense outside of maybe Buchelnikov and Max Blount to a certain extent. On defense, they have Moritz Seider and Simon and Vincent, who both have first pair D upside, and Axel Sandin-Pellikka in the pipeline with the top 4 first power play upside with the elite of all elite shot from the blue line of the circle. For the people in Detroit who didn't hear or see ASP shoot the puck, you're really in for a surprise. But outside of that, from Shai Buyam to Wallander to Cleveland to Whipple, etc., it's pretty much all third pair at best. The conclusion from all this is they need one more top 4 and some raw talent up front to drive offense on that second line. So after all this, it's finally time to get to the draft targets. So we're going to play this like if Detroit was going to pick somewhere between 12th and 16, and we're going to try to get the highest level of talent available. Obviously, players like McQueen or Desnoyers aren't going to be there, so we're not going to be talking about those players. But I think that if a player like Jackson Smith is available for them, they jump on the occasion to complete that top 4 and build one of the best defense core in the entire NHL. The potential of a Seider, Edvinsson, ASP, and Smith would be amazing, but I don't think he will fall all the way there considering the strength of this draft, but crazier things have happened. Next on this list would be Lyndon Lakovic, a big left shot winger with tons of skills and speed. Not the most consistent player on a nightly basis, but so are many players of this age, but he would instantly become their best prospect with the highest offensive ceiling and could mesh really well with other players that already have size and strong work ethics. Like, you can't tell me that a future line of Danielson with Lakovic and Brandsack-Nygaard isn't a beautiful thing. There's literally a little bit of everything on that line. After that, I think Justin Carbonneau is next in line. Justin has a little bit of everything in his skill set. He competes for pucks, he's a strong skater, he has hands to play in traffic, he has one of the hardest shots in the entire draft. He's basically a skill, speed, compete, and shot package. He needs to work to bring his decision making and problem solving to the NHL level, but some of his tools are literally high-end, which you won't get much of that far in the draft. I follow this up with Carter Bear, and just a couple of weeks ago I would have said there's no way that he drops this far into the draft, but now that he has no more Achilles tendon, I'd say there's a chance maybe. As someone who's been recovering from a ripped Achilles for 2 years and the history of players like Peyton Krebs, I'd be a little bit scared, but it's not every year that you get the chance to get a player of Bears caliber in that range in a draft. There's also Keishan Aitchison here, who's an intriguing prospect, solid skater with very involved and physical defensive style, which might be to Yzerman's taste considering they picked Cleveland as high as 47th last season. Needs some work on the breakout, but solid choice nonetheless. Here is where I feel there's a little bit of a drop in the quality of the player, or at least a little bit of a drop in the quality of the fit, but they could go with a player like Cameron Reed, who's a very talented, very fluid left shot D, but he stands at 6 foot, which would give their top 4 two slightly undersized defensemen, which is not ideal even though they compete. There's also players like Braden Coots, who's showing potential with skills, compete, and a mature game in a very tough situation in one of the worst offense in the entire WHL. It's a bit of a gamble, but there's not many players left available that has shown high-end flashes of skills and offense like he does on a pretty consistent basis. So that's basically it. So there you go, Detroit. Right now, those would be my targets in that range. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.